Welcome to a start of a new chapter in my life, and welcome to the Lodhi Roundup. I am Majid Lodhi, a broker in Toronto and the GTA for the last decade. And in this podcast, we will talk about everything that has to do with real estate, investing, and life, because that's important, right? We will learn from other people's experiences, share stories about investors and average landlord tenant, and we'll try to paint a picture that's different from what the media shows us. Um, this is a daunting journey because if you know from where I have come from, it is not an easy task, but I feel like it's a step forward in my journey, and I am very excited. You might not see it on the camera, but I'm just very excited to be on this journey. Um, who am I? So this is the first episode of many, and I am trying to just build up to this long journey that I'm going to go on and firstly talk about who am I, what do I do, and give a very small introduction into what we see as real estate and what our approach is, right? So, who am I? We moved to Canada in 2002 from Pakistan and wanted to build on the dream for a better family, better future. That's what my parents had hoped for. Came here, went to school. I graduated with a BCom and started working in the IT field. Worked in IT security as an IT security analyst, and left my professional corporate job in 2015 and jumped into the real estate industry. And it's been a great journey since then. When I told my dad in 2015 that I wanted to switch careers and go into real estate and become an independent contractor, it was scary for them, to say the least. They did support me, but they were also worried. And I feel like the support from family is very important, and that has helped me from my start to now. The goal of the podcast is to share knowledge with everybody, and the way I like to approach my business, the way I like to do stuff is that I take an education approach. I have a process called House to Home, which works within the limit of that we like to help our clients, or I like to help my clients buy and sell or invest within their limits, within their lifestyle. So within the house to home method, we take an approach where I like to educate my clients, and that makes their experience and my experience and our journey together very fulfilling, and it's easier because they're well aware of the process, right? And the goal of this podcast is to share knowledge, give value, and just make this big but small industry of real estate very informational, and just share the knowledge, right? That is the goal. Now, time to time, I might look at my laptop. When I was talking to some of the people about starting this podcast, and I was just very scared, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna write something, or I'm gonna go off a script. But last night when I was talking to my videographer, and him and I are like, you know what, let's just not do any of that, right? So my boy Nick behind the camera right now, him and I had been going back and forth for a while, and in the morning when I came to the office, I'm like, you know what, Nick, I'm just gonna like go off and just see where this goes. And if we fail, we'll do it again, right? Who cares? Because we're aiming to grow, and the journey is what counts. So here we are, just basically no script, no nothing, just on top of my mind. Now going into the real estate part. So as a realtor, as a broker, somebody who's in the industry, we get asked a lot, how's the market, right? It's the only question that people love to ask us. And there's no right answer, there's no correct answer. It all depends on what's happening in your life and what you're looking to do in the real estate industry, right? You could be a buyer, the answer is different. You could be a seller, and the answer for that is different. You could be a buyer and a seller. You could be an investor, you could be a first-time investor. There are so many different factors that play a role in real estate, so there's no one answer for anybody that I feel, because everybody's situation is different, right? Your financing is different, your capacity is different, your appetite in the market is different. Some people just want to invest in Toronto, and some people don't want to invest in Toronto because they're not okay with the negative cash flow. They want to go outside somewhere and get positive cash flow, right? They don't care about the appreciation market. They care about, they want land, they want a low rise and not a condo. So the answers are much different. But what I have noticed and what I have seen over the last few years, and if you look at the data over the last 40 years, the GTA market or the Toronto market on average has gone up 7.2%. So there are ups and downs all the time in every market. The real estate market is very seasonal, right? So the winter market, spring market, summer market, fall market, they're all different markets. The prices go up and down, but if you look at the bigger picture, the holistic picture, from a macro perspective, the market has gone up, does go up, and it is a very secure and a good investment. Now, you could say that I'm biased, but it is a hard asset. It is something that you can leverage on. It is something that people definitely need because you got to live somewhere, right? So you could say that I'm biased. I am a realtor, but I'm also an investor. I'm also somebody who owns real estate. So it is something that I truly believe in. Now, when you do talk about real estate in general, people ask about different areas. People talk about different kind of investment properties, right? So there are, what I think, there's 4 kind of different investments that you could do. There are cash flow investments, right? So positive cash flow. You could get into the appreciation market of investments. You can get into pre-con investments, or you can get into active and passive real estate investments. It all depends on what your appetite is for an investment and how you, or what your goals are long term. So when we actually talk, or when I talk to people about real estate, it's not just what the market always states, that, hey, realtors just are looking for a quick check, or it's a quick deal and you're out, right? So we like to take a long-term approach. First, we want to understand what your goals are, right? We like to do a real estate action plan where we do a financial checkup from the neck up, right? And we talk about your long-term goals, what you want to do, right? And you can't help everybody in real estate, but the goal is to put a plan together and see how we can help you. Real estate is not for everybody, but for the people that do want to invest and get into the market, we like to put a plan together, right? And see what suits your lifestyle, your goals, and what you're comfortable with, and then run with that. What Bob might be doing is different than what I might be doing, right? My goals are that I want to be in an X market, X price range, and Bob has a different appetite. He's okay with something completely different, or he's more risky and I'm not. So all those there's so many factors that we look at in the back end. Even when I talk to, let's say, a first-time home buyer, and they're in a different zone emotionally, and they're looking at things from a different lens, and me being their realtor, their broker, them trusting me, I'm looking at tons of different things in the background just to make sure that they can only focus on if they like the house, and the rest we take care of, right? So there's so many different factors that people do not look at. But going back to the different type of investments, you are looking at cash flow investments, and that could be anywhere. In the Toronto market, cash flow investments are a little bit difficult, but you can go to the outskirts of the GTA or the interior market or in Canada. You don't have to do it within only Toronto. There's some very good markets on the outside. For example, Kingston, Niagara, Hamilton, to name a few, Sudbury, Thunder Bay. So you can look at different asset classes, different kind of investments that will give you cash flow, but they might not appreciate a lot. So that's something you have to figure out. But along with that, you can also look at investments that will appreciate, and you'll find that in Toronto, but they won't be cash flow positive. If they might be properties that will break even, or they might be negative cash flow. There's a lot of investments in downtown Toronto that I know of that are negative cash flow, but those guys are they're in the mindset that the appreciation of their investment is what they're banking on, and the Toronto market has given that, right? When we talk to people, or when I talk to people, even though the market has appreciated at a much higher rate, I tell people 4 or 5% is what you should be looking at, right? Depending on, of course, what you are doing. But at a very conservative number, 4 or 5% year over year is something that's very good. The market overall, the last 40 years has given us 7.2. In the last few years, we all know that the market has given way more than 10%. But when you're investing, we're looking at the long-term healthy approach, and that's about 4 or 5%. Now, you also have the option of going on the pre-con side. Pre-con investment, you're able to leverage, you're able to buy a property, save up, have a good down payment structure, and then in 4 or 5 years, close on that property. Now, in those 4 or 5 years, we're looking at saving up down payment. If you have to get a better job, if you have to figure out either your life or your corporate life, a different chapter in life, you're able to do that and then eventually close on that property. So a lot of investors love that approach. But now, even in the pre-con market, you have to be very careful with where and what you invest in, right? Every pre-con investment is not a good investment. Every pre-con project is not a good project, but there are a lot of good projects that you could look into. And when I have these chats with my investors or first-time home buyers or just buyers in general, upsizers, we talk about what their why is. Why are they investing? Why are they moving? Why are they selling? Because we all know that time in the market is what makes you money. So if you don't have to sell, don't sell. Just leverage, refinance, and then maybe buy another one. But it all depends on what your situation is like. And the goal is that eventually in the following episodes of this podcast, we'll break down all these different investments. We'll break down what the mindset is of a first-time home buyer. We'll break down what you're looking at as a first-time home buyer compared to an upsizer or somebody who's downsizing. All those factors have different things you look at, right? So we'll break all those down. We'll break down cash flow investments, appreciation market, pre-con market, and then there's also passive investments that you can make, which are to do with, I would say, REIT-style investments, land development. There are companies that you can invest with that you also have to do research on, but there are some very good options that we work with that eventually I can connect you with if you're interested in that, where you don't have to do much, right? You don't have to worry about tenants. You don't have to worry about your mortgage. You don't have to worry about any of those factors. You just invest with them. You wait for a few years, and if the numbers and all of that makes sense to you, you could do that, right? You also have an option of doing private lending, which is a secure option as well, but it all depends on if you're comfortable with that and if you're okay with that route. It's not for everybody, but it's an option that you could look into. So there's a lot of options in the real estate industry. It's just not buying and selling. And that's the approach and that we take, and we also like to just educate on that. And over the next, I don't know how many episodes and I don't know how many years, but that would be the goal, to just bring all the knowledge that we have to you guys. So, for those who are still watching, other than my parents, thank you very much for still being here and supporting me. I'm trying to create a community of like-minded people where we can all learn from each other, and where my goal is to give you a lot of value. Now, I have a lot of exciting topics lined up and a lot of exciting people that I want to bring on the podcast, from experts, actual real stories of people, investors, landlords, tenants, and also other people in the industry that I look up to or work with, to share knowledge and give it to my community that I'm trying to build. So again, thank you very much. Please follow me on my socials, the Majid Lodhi on all the socials, and support me on this journey. Please like and share, subscribe to my channel, and comment, interact with my channel and my podcast. That way we all can grow, I can grow, and I can provide value to you guys. So thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.